Oh my gosh, we're on YouTube. Let me stop talking about my house now.
I don't know if it says setting up your meetings for YouTube Live. It's getting there. I had to go through like 3 different things. Apparently, I've got like 6 Google accounts that I didn't know were on my laptop. That's fun.
It just notified me.
Yeah, it says it on the. It says it on the Zoom meeting as well. Like this Zoom meeting is now live on YouTube.
I know. I guess that means, you can't be scandalous and stream stuff that you don't want to be streamed. I didn't know. Did it do that last time? I don't think it told us on Zoom last time.
Maybe
it did.
Maybe a new update. View stream on YouTube. Wow.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's cute. I found my house, guys. Hopefully they accept my application.
Nice.
Shall we talk about the book?
Yes. Let's talk about the book I didn't finish.
Nearly finished.
Yeah.
Wait, but did you finish Did you finish the standoff scene?
No. That's literally what's happening right now.
And you were able to stop in the middle of that? Oh, but I would not have been able to stop. I would have been like...
I didn't want to be like 30 minutes late, so I started the book less than 10 hours ago, and I've read 700 pages.
Yeah.
So,
Breaking Dawn, I don't think is one you can just do in one day.
Yeah, I almost did, so...
I'm trying to connect, someone says. Did you finish the standoff scene?
I hear so much echo from Kira.
I know. I was like, I hear it from Kira's. What is she?
I was trying to figure out what was going on because I was really delayed, and I was like, when I was moving, and I was like, all right, it must be catching up with the sound, and then realized it's because it automatically brings up YouTube, so I've just muted us.
Yeah, just mute it on YouTube, and we'll be fine.
Okay.
But
Victoria,
I can't believe you didn't finish the standoff scene.
Kira, Victoria's waiting to be let in.
Oh, wait, what?
Well, I think she's trying to connect. I don't know if she's in the waiting room.
I was going to say, I've got nobody in.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe she's like trying to download it.
Yeah, I want to finish the scene.
Well, you can until
right
she comes
now,
in.
But I also don't want to grab it. I'm listening to the audiobook on 4 times speed, and it's really hard to even hear words because 1 syllable words just don't exist anymore. They're just skipped. So.
The most I could do is 2 times, but also I haven't tried to go any higher because my app doesn't go any higher than 2 times.
Yeah, the quality of this one is...
My husband's like, what are they saying? I mean, I can hear what they're saying.
The quality of this one is also a lot lower, so it becomes really hard to hear it because it becomes very robotic when it's above 2 times speed. But I'm okay because I'm reading the physical book alongside, so I can just fly through it. Because I just started this too late. I was just I didn't want to start reading Eclipse, so I read 2 other books while I should have been reading Eclipse already. And I would have been ready for this. But yeah, I'm smart.
All of our priorities are kind of everywhere.
Yeah, my priority was not on this, especially after New Moon. I was I don't want to read Eclipse. But now that I'm reading Breaking Dawn, I'm like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, Breaking Dawn was the best book.
I agree with that.
Definitely some character developments.
I have there's almost no abusive and problematic things in Breaking Dawn that I've
it's kind of just figuring your life out after you turn. That's basically what it is for her. And then obviously the child and what the child can do, I guess.
Can my child be like that later? Can we just skip and have her age in a month so I don't have to deal with the
Can you touch me and tell me what you want? Because I don't understand cries.
Exactly. It's let's skip those baby stages and...
Right, let's just... So she stays at 8 years old, they said? 8 years old she stops growing? Something like that.
I don't know. I'm not there yet, so... Right now,
you're not, because that's towards the end of the stand.
Right now she's still growing. Are you okay, Kira?
I know.
I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning.
Oh, bless your soul.
I think.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, I'm just trying to figure everything out because it's the first time I'm on Zoom, so.
Don't worry, okay, time. So we are now on. We're on a cheeky little live. I think everybody who was planning on coming along is here. And we're really delayed. Hello.
Are you delayed?
I see your face. Am I delayed?
No, I think YouTube is just delayed.
I think it's just YouTube. I think you'd be fine on like straight Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very delayed on YouTube. That's fine. We're muted on YouTube now, so
no
if anyone happens to comment, I can see the comments, but like, yeah. So
let me go share it real quick.
Oh yeah, that's probably a thing. We should do that. I mean, feel free to introduce yourselves.
Okay, who's going first?
Yeah, everyone's so excited about that.
No,
Sharing the link. Hold on.
Okay, I'll go first, I guess. Wait, no, Kira should go first. It's your channel.
I know.
Okay, hi. I'm Kira, and welcome to my YouTube channel. It feels so daft when I say that. At Casey Bookshelf on Instagram. Otherwise, Kira L. Curtis, I guess. And today we're discussing. I sound really interested. I've had a long day. Today we're discussing Eclipse and Breaking Dawn from our little mini-a-thon Twilight read-along. If you're interested in watching the live chat from Twilight and New Moon, head to Instagram. It's all on my IGTV. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's me. I have read both books by audiobook. They were slightly mental, and it is a reread for me. So I read them a long time ago. Who's next?
I'll go next. It's me, Exy, as I always say when I introduce myself. Exy's Book Nook, literally everywhere. Blog, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Very lucky that I could get the name everywhere. I was reading Twilight for the very first time, and it was an experience. I can say that. I have not actually finished Breaking Dawn yet. I had 50 pages to go when we started this because I was smart and started it 10 hours ago. And I am definitely going to get spoiled, but that's okay. And I'm going to be very outspoken about certain things.
Cool.
Sorry, give me a second. My computer's dying. I'm clearly very organized.
Okay. I'm just doing a quick share on the gram. Oh, I never saw the gram before. I hate saying that.
Okay.
That's
Hi.
a boomer thing.
I'm Stasia. I am Readers C everywhere, I believe. Yes, everywhere. This was partially a reread for me. I read the first 2 books a while ago, but then the last 2 I've never read. I did them all via audiobook. And yeah, I mean, it was partially a new experience for me. That's me, I guess.
Well, I'm Victoria. Victoria sells on Instagram, and I only have a blog. I don't do YouTube or anything else like that. As for Twilight, I think it was like my 10th time rereading the series. Like, I was a big Twihard back in like 10 years ago, basically, when it first came out. I'm kind of ancient. And yeah, it was like a new experience, even though I had reread the books like in the past so many times. I had forgotten so many things, and rereading them now with the things I know now and how things have changed, I saw like how problematic some of the things in the books are. And it was really funny because back then we were accepting them as like normal and romantic, but in reality, no. It's not healthy at all. So yeah, it was like nice experience.
It's crazy. So since we're on YouTube now, let's probably just do a quick recap from Twilight and New Moon, since there's more people here. First impressions and new impressions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sure. First impressions for Eclipse. No. For me, it was the most problematic book out of all of them. So much happened. And it wasn't Edward this time, because I started liking Edward more and more, and I started hating Jacob more and more. Because, nice. It was just, Jacob wasn't able to take no for an answer at all throughout the entire book, and he just kept following Bella around and just telling her, like, no, I would be better. Here, I'll kiss you, even though you don't want me to, and I'll just force myself on you. And then the whole imprinting thing actually made me want to throw the book away and burn it, because it's like a 17-year-old kid or something imprinting on a 2-year-old. No, I was just like, no, I don't want to read this. It makes me very uncomfortable. And then in Breaking Dawn, it happens again, even worse. I just like, I couldn't see why Bella was so upset about hurting Jacob while he was continuously hurting her as well. It's like, it's not your fault that he can't take no for an answer. It's not your fault that he's so obsessed and he won't leave you alone. You can't blame yourself for that. But yeah, I think Eclipse is my least favorite book out of all of them. So
I agree that most of, I think the problematic things does happen in Eclipse, but I feel like they just needed a bridge to get from New Moon to concluding the series. So they kind of just threw a whole bunch of stuff in there. Imprinting, I'm not going to talk about because I can't stand that concept. I really could not. Like, that concept could have been taken out of the book completely and it would have been fine because they need to get their lives together with that. I feel bad for the werewolves, I guess, because at the end of Breaking Dawn, they don't really call them werewolves anymore. But I feel bad for the werewolves only because, like, they're so set on hating the vampires that when some of them have formed relationships with them, they're kind of like, you're trash. And I'm like, that's rude because the vampires aren't doing anything. And the vampires are like more than willing to at least try to work with them. But I think like the werewolves just have it different because theirs is like a passed down trait, whereas vampires, you kind of just get made. Yeah, Breaking Dawn is my favorite book. Eclipse is my least favorite.
Roller coaster end to the series.
Yeah, Breaking Dawn was crazy because, like I said, it was my first time reading it, and I did it through the audiobook, and I was just like, what is happening? Like, yeah,
pretty much.
A lot happened.
I am. It's always weird for me because, like, to me, Twilight's like the big opener, and it's Twilight, and then you've got New Moon, this kind of like nothing book, but it's like the introduction to these werewolves, yeah, whatever, shapeshifters, whatever you want to call them, which is obviously needed if you're going to introduce wolves, and then you've kind of got like the Volturi being introduced as well, and then Eclipse just suddenly goes back to the first book where you've got Victoria? Is it Victoria? Is it good?
Yeah, Victoria.
And you're just like, oh, okay, now we're gonna take a step back, and we've just had this big like Italian, like basically like the originals, like, you know, and then and then all of them we're gonna go back. But actually, the whole book's just this the one book that seems to make it seem like there is such a feud between Edward and Jacob. Like, it was like when they had the whole Twihard stuff. It's like, oh, Team Edward, Team Jacob, and we're gonna put that in a book, and we're gonna amp it up, and you're gonna
They had to sell
hate them both, and you're just like, what? Is that what the book's about? Which is weird because I remember really, really loving Eclipse when I first read it. I think it was my favorite. Now, not so much. But I don't know. But yeah, Breaking Dawn like is my favorite now, I think. Maybe it's because they're slightly older and they've got more like adult themes in it, I guess.
I feel like there's more actual necessary action in Breaking Dawn.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason to why they're doing things instead of just doing it. So I think that's why I liked it. And I don't like that they went back to Victoria in the third book. That made no sense to me.
I think
I
with Victoria, it just continues from the first book because even on the second book, they were still trying to keep her off Bella or whatever. That's what they were doing. So it's like a continuation. So that thing had to conclude to get it out of the way. I think like that's what I think. But it was kind of boring because it's like it was the same thing again and again and again, like with Victoria. Just kill her already and just like move on. Like to something new.
yeah, there was like no real tension anymore because it was like she's being protected by these 10 werewolves and 6 super strong vampires. What are they gonna do? And then when the whole thing came about like, oh, she has all these newborn vampires, they're really strong but stupid. I was like, I never really felt like anything was gonna happen besides them just winning, and nothing happened. We didn't even lose a
I
single
felt like
character.
she could have very easily been killed off earlier.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
even in the second book, after everything was like done with
I just feel
James.
like sometimes like Eclipse like shouldn't have been written. Like it should have been a 3-book series and that's it. I mean, there was a lot of unnecessary stuff in it. And as for the imprinting thing, yeah, animals they do imprint like humans, they have like a connection with the mom. Like it's the same thing with the animals and stuff, but she took it and she turned it into something disgusting and she executed wrongly, she just missed the point completely, especially with a 2-year-old kid. And it wasn't only Jacob, I think on Breaking Dawn it was the other guy as well from his pack, like Quill or something.
Quill, yeah.
So that was really creepy, even though she explained it's not like sexual or romantic or anything like that until like they grow up, but it's still like
still
grooming,
weird.
It's like grooming, exactly.
It's straight up grooming. It's like, it may not be romantic now, but he's like, I'll just wait till she's like 16 or 17 and then something
like
can
the
happen.
intention
Like,
is to get romantic, and I can't get behind that. Like, how are you 17 looking at a 2-year-old and you're like, when you grow up, we're gonna be romantic? Like, that's just weird. That's weird.
I couldn't read that. I just like wanted to put the book away, especially because it wasn't just like 1 page or 2 page about it. No, it was like an entire 30-page chapter that they would continuously defend it, saying like, no, it's not like that. It's just get it away from me.
Well,
I feel like if they're gonna imprint, they should have done it on like at least someone their age. But I mean, like I said, I feel like imprinting shouldn't have been in the book at all.
Even if it was in the book, like the way the imprinting worked with like the other people, I don't even know their names anymore. There was one with Kim and then like Sam with Emily, I believe. That wasn't bad because they were like the same age and that seemed like a consensual relationship. A 2-year-old child cannot consent, and then if you groom her for 15 years, it's still no.
I think that's the thing is like so like in Akatar there's the whole that series there's a whole mate kind of thing, and like
I haven't read that yet.
I know I haven't read it.
Okay, never mind.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about Akatar, that's another series I don't like because of abusive relationships.
I mean, it's like, so there's the whole like the whole idea of having a soulmate and stuff. It's like, especially when this is a romance, like I can kind of get behind and I can kind of understand and stuff like this, as long as you're not going to be like really like weird and prejudiced about it and stuff. Just go ahead and have a soulmate however you want. But like, it is the bit though, it's like it's not even described as a soulmate almost. It's kind of like, it's that idea of it. It's even given the name imprinting, like you're putting yourself.
Sounds like ownership.
Yeah, exactly. And it just sounds odd, and it's just kind of like this whole idea of soulmate idea, but twisted and made wrong.
I think like, generally like all of the books on the Twilight, they're like about ownership. Like if you see how Edward is like treating Bella, I understand that she's a human and she might die anytime, and yeah, you're gonna maybe lose her. I understand that, but then again, like it's very unhealthy. And a lot of kids, like I remember a lot of teenagers, they thought that that's the ideal romance. Like you're sleeping and someone is like looking at you
Watching
sleeping.
you.
Like, that's stalking, you know. That's,
They currently
Yeah.
still do. Like I work with kids and teenagers, and they still look at Twilight as like a really like idealistic romance.
Yeah, I feel like
this is what I
that's,
want.
like,
It's like, you don't.
That's a toxic base. It's like, I mean, I understand the proportion of like wanting to do anything for anyone and like always wanting them safe, but the way that this book took it on was very toxic.
Yeah.
Especially to the point where like I didn't like when Bella started like putting herself in danger to see him, because then it's like,
oh my god.
if I'm in danger enough, then someone will care about me after they've left me. And I yeah,
And I
Yeah,
mean,
it
I only knew him for like 9 months at that point.
not
Where
even a year.
exactly. I mean, what kind of relationship like do you have? Like, it's so painful when he leaves you.
I mean,
in
I
9
can't-
months.
I don't know about that. I mean, it really just depends, because a lot of people, you can have like a really strong connection with someone in a short period of time. But I feel like it was just different for them, because I feel like she always knew what was going to happen,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
because they wanted different things. She wanted to turn, and well, in the end, but he didn't want her to. And that was like something that was constantly like they were badgering each other about. So I feel like from that, she could have already known that it was like not going to work and it was going to happen, that he was going to leave anyways. Then I found it weird that every time she was with Jacob, like all of a sudden Edward wasn't there anymore. Like that wasn't her main concern. So I'm like, did you really care about him that much if you can just like go to another guy and forget about him?
Yeah.
So she didn't really forget about him. Like, she was using Jacob to get away from Edward in New Moon. And then in Eclipse or whatever, I felt like she was playing with Jacob's feelings,
Yeah.
you know. It came out as really wrong, you know.
I mean, like, to be fair, she did mention like a couple times. Honestly, I don't know what book it is. It's in one of them. But she was like mentioning where like our intentions are different. But I feel like her saying it and then like constantly going to see him and like letting him hold her hand, like,
Yeah, that was
Is
in
it
the second
now?
book.
Yeah, it's like it's a bit of both. Like it's a bit from both Edward or from both Jacob and Bella, because Bella was like, I don't want to be with you. I just want you as my friend. But then she kind of went too far on multiple occasions, and Jacob just wouldn't accept that.
yeah. Well, I
This was
mean, yeah,
supposed to be
Jacob would be like, oh yeah, you don't want to be with me, but that's not gonna stop me from trying. And I'm like,
Yeah, you've
What?
never kissed a real person,
Literally
so
said
let me
no.
just force my tongue down your throat. And oh, it was so hard to
Isn't
read.
he a 16-year-old at this point as well?
Yeah.
yeah, he's younger.
16-year-old like giant as well.
Yeah.
It's described that he
That
has the
happened.
body.
Now I'm 16.
You know, though.
I'm gonna get the girl. Like,
Yeah, like it was explained that he has the body of a 25-year-old, so that makes him a 25-year-old. And I was like,
yeah, the whole thing with the ages. It's just like, yeah, we're
Yeah,
just
where
gonna
he's
work
like,
that
you're
out.
48. I'm like, bro, what is happening?
it's like,
Yeah.
if I just start telling people I'm 30, they're not gonna believe me. Maybe
Right.
like it's not how it works. Because I tell somebody I'm 30 doesn't mean I'm 30. Like
Because of my maturity and all the things I can change my car oil, so I'm 25. What sense is that? Like, I just
yeah.
I think it was the Stephanie Meyer's bad writing. If someone else had written the books, I think it would be
Possibly.
better, because she wanted to, like, the way she wrote some things, it didn't turn out the way she was expecting them to turn out. That's what I think. Like, that's why there's so many
I
bad
think they
things.
just aged badly.
Yeah, like a lot of things have changed since Twilight like released in the beginning, like back in 2008. A lot of things have changed, and especially like all of those race things that you can see in the book, like how Bella is so preoccupied with her whiteness and I don't fit, but she's the epitome of fitting in. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand these things. So yeah, it hasn't aged well.
I think it was in Eclipse as well, where it was like, oh yeah, that vampire is Asian, but even though he's Asian, he looks completely white. It's like,
Yeah.
why? Why can't Asian vampires exist? Why do Asian vampires have to turn into white people again? Like, it's
Like, I mean, I guess I understand one of their traits being like their paleness and sparkling, but like I don't think you need to change your whole ethnicity once you become a vampire.
Sparkling vampire thing. I will always laugh about that because it's so ridiculous. Like,
It's so funny because now, like looking back on it and then like watching shows like the Vampire Diaries, you kind of like wonder like if they had the same traits, how different the book would be. Like if Twilight was able to like compel and stuff, like imagine how
I
much
always
crazier
think-
it would be.
would
Like
not
every
be
time,
good.
like vampires have such different portrayals, but oh, thank God they cannot compel because that would be a whole different thing for.
Yeah, that would have the books would have been even worse if Edward was
Well,
able
I
to
feel like
compel.
if they were able to compel, it wouldn't have gone as far because Edward knew that he was bad for her, so I feel like he would have just compelled her to like stay away from him.
And would his
No.
power worked on her because
True, because he couldn't even read her mind.
But also, he would not have stayed away because he continuously says like, "Oh, I need to stay away from you. This isn't healthy. This isn't good." And then he just came back, followed her, and would be
Yeah.
wherever she was. He never stayed away.
But like I feel like to a point he probably would have, like when he left that one time, I feel like there would have been like some compulsion if he was able to. Just because at that point I think like he seen that he was putting her in danger even if she didn't. And I mean he stayed away for like a while. And then he thought she died and then the whole Volturi, yeah. Then that whole thing happened.
God. Oh my God. Seriously.
so was there anything you actually enjoyed from Eclipse?
No.
I liked Eclipse because Edward came back. I was very happy about that. I was excited, you know, when Eclipse came out and the first time I read it, I was so excited. Yeah, we get more Edward and stuff. I don't like Jacob, you know. But generally now that reading it, I think that book was shouldn't have been written. He shouldn't.
Yeah, from
I mean,
like
it's like a big
Eclipse in
filler.
general. Wait, is it? Wait, when was the Volturi mentioned like the first time? That was Eclipse.
New
Yeah,
Moon.
No,
Well,
New Moon.
It's the end, yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
New Moon
okay,
is where
then
they go
yeah,
to Italy. Yeah, in New
See,
Moon they go
it's
to
like-
Italy to like rescue
Yeah.
Edward from killing himself.
Okay, that was New Moon. You see, they just all meshed together. But yeah, Eclipse definitely wasn't really necessary, I guess, because you already, I mean, I feel like they just did that for the sake of wrapping up Victoria, and that's about it. But I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair, you could have wrapped up Victoria and Breaking Dawn and called it a day.
Without 500 pages of abusive romance.
Exactly.
thrown
Like
in.
if they had skipped out on Eclipse in general and went straight from like the Volturi to them getting married, basically, I think it would have been fine. Eclipse is a mess.
You know,
Me.
I don't know if you read the what's it called, Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice, like the Vampire Chronicles.
I have
The
not.
Twilight is like straight taken out of there because there is Lewis. You know, there is like one vampire in that book, Anne Rice's book, that he doesn't like drinking human blood. He's actually drinking the blood of mice or whatever animals he can find. And then they also have a little girl that they turn into a vampire because they want to have a daughter or something. So it's like a lot of similarities between the books. And then the Twilight Saga like influenced all the writers to start writing paranormal romance similar to that of Edward and Bella. Like we have I think it's the Fallen series, which is Fallen Angels by Lauren Cates. And then it's the Hash Hash series by Becca Fitzpatrick. It was exactly the same formula, like 4 books. Exactly the same thing happens. In the beginning, they meet. They find the girl finds out that the guy is whatever he is. And the second book, they separate for whatever reason. The third book, they come together. And the fourth book, there's always a marriage or something. So, and
Yeah,
Yeah,
all of
definitely put down the layout for other
exactly.
paranormal romances.
And
I
all
was
of
an
those
absolute
books
sucker for all of them.
romantic relationships. Sorry.
And Vampire Diaries as well. I don't know which one came out earlier, but they're incredibly similar as well. Well, the vampires may be different. Like Stefan is also like,
Read it.
I don't drink blood, or at least I try not to like kill people for blood at least. And then it's the same.
But I feel like the thing with the Vampire Diary, well, I mean, I've never read it. So I'm going based on the show.
That's really old books, like from the 90s, the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I feel like with the Vampire Diaries, it was like slightly better because they had a storyline other than the boy meets girl, because they had the brothers too.
Yeah.
And it was like a lot about like Damon and Stefan as well. So, like, I mean, although there was like the triangle and everything, I feel like a lot of it was like, I mean, I have my brother's back and like that kind of stuff. So
I
at
gave
least
up on that show after 2 seasons or something. I couldn't get through it.
No, I binged watched everything. I watched the whole thing because of Damon. Like for that.
Oh yeah, no, I've rewatched that series like 4 times. I love that series.
But Damon also starts out very like bad and manipulative. I don't know where he goes, but he is terrible at the start. I know he gets better in like season 2 already, but he starts out so bad.
Because he is the bad guy, you know. He's
He
not
is.
a nice guy.
So he's like the character you're supposed to hate, but you're like, wait, I love you. What is happening?
He's the character you're supposed.
You know.
His personality is that he's hot, and that's it. And so it's like with the bad guy trope. It's like, I mean, yes, but not disagreeing there. But it's like, I guess I've never been like attracted to something like that, like the bad guy trope. It's like he's just bad for you, but he's hot, so I'm just gonna excuse all this behavior. I've always been like, no, why would anyone?
I would never excuse Damon's behavior. He got himself together though.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you do have to give like people room for improvement, but we're getting really off track about a completely.
I know this is we're talking about the Vampire Diaries. Okay,
that's another one. We'll do another read along one eventually because
I don't think I'm participating in that.
Anyway, getting back to a clip. So the one bit I liked, I think, and I don't know if this is like memories from the movie has been like imprinted onto the book, but it was the whole like Jasper's involvement for me. I think that was the only bit I liked in it. It was the fact that Jasper had more involvement, and you know, I said last time I was like, I want to know more about the vampires, and in this one we got tiny bit
yeah
about Jasper and his history.
Yeah, I got a tiny bit of backstory about Jasper, but that was also like it.
Yeah, that was that tiny bit, and then that was it.
I don't know. It's like I wanted to know more about the vampires, and I guess we got little like bits, but I wanted to know more about Alice, and we got the really like small bit of details in the first book, and that was it. Like they left it there. It was like, okay, you teased some history for her, you gave us a little bit of info, and then you just didn't elaborate on any of it.
Yeah, that's another thing I didn't like is how like they only focused on Edward. And I'm like, how are you going to mention a whole family and say nothing about them? Especially if she's now in the family. Like, shouldn't there be more conversation there about that? Like,
yeah.
I wish they definitely touched on the other vampires more.
There is a book, you know, there is this one. I'm reading it now. It's called the Twilight Saga, the official illustrated guide, and basically has backstories from all of the main characters, like all of the Callan family, the Denalis, the people that came from all over the world in Breaking Dawn, about the Volturi, about why the wives they're locked up in the tower, like all of these kind of things. So they're all in that book. Even for the humans, they have backstories for the humans as well. But I think she has the intention of writing more books, because I think in one of her interviews she mentioned how she has so many started projects, but she never has finished them. So she
has Midnight Sun.
Yeah,
that's coming out.
Oh my god! Like I hated her. Like I hated when she stopped writing Midnight Sun. Really.
Now that's coming out. When is that? Like next week, huh?
Yeah. I've pre-ordered it. I'm gonna be reading it. I don't know if I'm excited to read it.
I didn't pre-order it.
Like
so I'm probably will not be here for that discussion because I doubt my library will get it. Or if they will get it, it's probably already has a wait list.
You'll get it in like a year or something when the waitlist is finally over.
We'll do a 1 year anniversary next year. It's fine.
Right. So how has Twilight aged again?
Oh my gosh. In 1 year.
I'm really curious though to see how she has written Midnight Sun, because a lot of things has changed since the first book.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm really curious to see what it's gonna be having in there. If it's gonna be the same, I don't know, like the way she describes
tropes.
It. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, I wonder if she's gonna actually like touch on the fact that like instead of having like, you know, the racist side comments and the toxic relationship, what is Midnight Sun following? Because I know like it started
Twilight from Edward's perspective, and he also has a lot of background on Edward, like his life when he
the thing is, if she's gonna try to address his abusive behavior, I feel like it's gonna come off as like trying to excuse it. And I don't want her to be like, oh, this is how Edward actually experienced, and this is why his super problematic behavior wasn't actually problematic. It's like I don't want it to become
that's what she's gonna do. She's gonna try to like, I guess, make it seem okay, his actions, because I mean, even from Bella's perspective, like she didn't see anything wrong with it. So I feel like in Midnight Sun, she's gonna try to like validate it more. Elle can go away. I'm not buying any more merch. But I feel like that's what she's gonna try to do from Edward's perspective, especially now that a lot of people are rereading it and saying like it is toxic and these actions shouldn't have happened. I feel like now she's kind of like taking that step back and she's like, but from my perspective, it's fine because I'm doing it from protection. And I'm like, I love that album, but I'm like, no, like you can't validate a toxic relationship if it's toxic. Like, I don't know. But I feel like that is what she's gonna try to do.
Maybe
but apparently, like the first, like however many chapters leaked a while ago.
They thought like Robert Pattinson leaked the chapters because he didn't want to do another Twilight movie, you know, because she gave it to him to read it, you know, like so he can get an idea of how Edward is, you know, so he can act that way. And everyone thought like he leaked it because he's like, fuck that, I'm not gonna do it, you know, had enough.
No more sparkling.
I mean, have you seen the interview? There is an interview of him literally on live TV saying like, I think like Stephanie has convinced herself that she's Bella and Edward is like doing these things to her. Like it was really offensive. Like if I was the author and he was acting on my movie, I would be like, fire him right now, you know. I don't know how he got away with that. I need to find it and send it to you so you can see it. It's ridiculous, really.
From what I've heard, Midnight Sun is going to be like a retelling of Hades and Persephone. And I don't know how I'm going to feel about that because I don't think I can compare Hades and Persephone with Bella and Edward in any way. Like, that's why it has the pomegranate on the cover and everything. So, I don't know. It's going to be weird.
It's gonna be weird. I mean, I probably won't read it, but it'll probably, you know what? Let me check my library right now. Maybe they already got it.
I remember like the whole.
I probably won't read it. Reserved book.
I mean, I don't think they'll have it. When does it release? It releases next week, right? Monday?
4th.
3rd?
Yeah, the 4th.
Yeah.
4th.
Tuesday
Tuesday.
or Wednesday.
Wednesday.
God. That means I'll have a book arriving at the weekend. Yes.
All 3 of my Illumicrate packages shipped, so I have 3 packages arriving soon.
Jeez.
Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, it just says coming soon. Maybe if I could place a hold now. Oh my God, I'm number 51.
Wow.
I should have thought about this earlier. I didn't think they would have it. I didn't know they have like coming soon titles. 51, and they only got 1 copy. Y'all are not smart.
Why does your library have 1 copy?
It's only like 10.
Well, okay, this is my library from where I'm living now, which is very small town. But I'm gonna check my other library in Vegas.
Maybe, I mean, it's also a bigger population, so more people are requesting it, most likely. So.
They don't even have it coming soon. Oh gosh, they are fired. Wow. Maybe everyone will like read the first chapter or listen to the first chapter and be like, you know what, I hate this book, and just return it. Maybe I'll get it.
I feel like it's gonna be like another 2-star, but yeah.
That's not gonna happen, I'm telling you.
I know, they're gonna be like, you know what, even if I hate it, I must still read it. It's fine.
I think people, they're gonna binge read it because like we have been waiting for this book for a very long time.
How long is it? Is there an official page count?
I think it's like almost 700 pages. It's like double.
Let's check
Twilight.
Goodreads. Goodreads should probably have this.
I don't trust Goodreads.
Why not?
They're always giving me wrong numbers.
I mean, that depends on the copy you're reading. If you're looking at
right.
the page count for a hardcover and... Wait, I just typed in Midnight Sun on Goodreads, and the first thing that comes up is Midnight Sun 2008 draft by Stephanie Meyer.
My.
That's on Goodreads?
What? Why is this here? Is that the
I'm
draft
very
that's
disappointed
leaked?
that my other
Yeah,
library.
that's the one. I have it, by the way, if you guys want to read it before the actual Midnight Sun.
Oh.
I'm
no.
really
I think
curious
I'm holding out.
if they kept anything from the original draft. I'm really curious about that.
I
I'm
might know.
trying
I might have a look at it
to
after.
do the audiobook.
One thing that I just thought about that I always forget about, and then I just remembered. The only other thing that I kind of liked getting out of Eclipse was the short second life of Bree Tanner, which as it isn't actually in Eclipse really, it's just mentioned, and then you've got the actual side book.
I got that in my box set, and I don't even know where I'm supposed to read that because...
Yeah. Well, I think it's connected to my Breaking Dawn.
No, it's connected to Eclipse because it's like the story of one of the newly born vampires and how Riley was building up the army, how everything was, the lies they were telling them.
Oh, it's that girl that got killed by the Volturi.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even make the connection. Like I did
Oh, I know that name.
I didn't even make the connection, but okay, I guess. I mean, am I interested in reading that? No, not really.
Yeah, I have it. I didn't.
There's something important in there. There's like something important. I'm not gonna spoil it if you haven't read it, but if you read it after Eclipse, there's something important like towards the end of the
You can spoil it for me. I probably won't read it.
I'm not thinking I can remember it.
But I don't know about everybody else, so I mean.
I don't mind. You can spoil it for me as well.
Okay.
So basically, Bree and another vampire that were spying on Riley, the one who created everyone on Victoria's orders. So they followed him one night, and while he was going to Victoria, so Victoria had a meeting with the Volturi because the Volturi, they arrived there in order to kill the army. But Victoria told them we're trying to attack the Callans, and because the Volturi, they didn't really like the Callans, they let them do whatever they wanted to do. So Bree heard all of these things, she saw everything, and then when the Volturi arrived at after the battle, like the Volturi came there to see what happened and tried to kill any vampires that remained, Bree was telling everything to Edward. She was thinking everything that she heard, between Victoria and the Volturi. So Edward knew what happened, the truth, that the Volturi didn't just arrive, but they knew about the attack and they let it happen. So, yeah.
So why was that never addressed at the start of Breaking Dawn?
Yes, that's what I'm wondering.
That
is why, I understand it's like a side story, but like something as dramatic as that, I feel like should have been touched.
Because in Breaking Dawn, they eventually come to the conclusion that they're gonna just attack us because they want like powerful people to join them, and they don't like us. But it's never because Edward tells them about what Bree has said. It's always kind of just
that's weird.
It's the
if you read it, it's a plot hole.
Yeah.
But if you don't read it, maybe they did it so you didn't have to read it.
I guess.
It still could have been like touched on.
they should have, but I think on Eclipse, like towards the end where Edward is speaking with the Volturi, I think he says like, yeah, if you could only arrive like a half an hour earlier or something like that. And Bella is thinking like, oh, he said that like he could read someone's mind. I think there is like two things
Like he
that,
knew something.
yeah, like it's hinting towards it, but
Yeah, but then it's like the ex-Volturi member that joins them in the standoff that kind of tells them about them recruit or like killing everyone and then taking the people with powerful abilities. And it's like it
Yeah.
never came from Edward. So I forget names, especially when I listen to an audiobook on 4 times speed and every word
Same.
just becomes a blur.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Thoughts on Breaking Dawn?
oh my god.
I love
Stop,
Breaking
but-
Dawn.
I don't know if I like the pro-life message of Breaking Dawn, you know?
Oh yeah, the fact
One
that
thing
she's
I will-
actually dying.
Yeah, keep it, even if it's like bad for your health, even though you're gonna die, just don't.
But
abort.
I feel like it was Bella and what's her name? Rosalie?
Yeah, because
They were the only ones who wanted to keep it. Everyone else was like, you're dying. Like
exactly doesn't make sense.
It was weirdly pro-life and pro-choice at the same time.
exactly. So that's why I was like, it kind of like had two sides to it.
But I guess
the
that
author generally is very influenced because she's a Mormon, and she also said it herself, like she's very influenced from her religion, and a lot of themes, you know, from her religion you can find in the Twilight Saga.
yeah.
And one of those things, it was that one, you know, the baby.
But I also definitely understood where Bella was coming from, not wanting to give up her baby. I was like, okay, you're dying. This isn't good. But it was also
Yeah.
kind of like, I understand not wanting to give up like your first child.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it
not
is-
only is it her first child, is she had the intention of changing, knowing she wouldn't have had the opportunity to have a child ever again. So I
Yeah.
could get where she's coming from, like in that standpoint, because it's like, it's now or never. And I mean, like she did have it thought out. She was like, I'm going to die and they're going to bring me back, but I'll have my child. So like, I got that, but like, I feel like she was just going through so much. Like your baby is literally eating its way out. What is that madness? Like,
yeah, and it was weird. Like it was again, like the thing Edward said really freaked me out, I guess. It was like, oh yeah, if we could, we would just force it out of her. We would just like knock her out and basically remove it by force. It's like,
yeah.
what? Like that's not a choice you can make.
Yeah, but I
understand-
mean, at least in the end, they did like respect her. They're like, okay, well, whenever the baby's ready. Wow.
they only did that because Edward still wanted a future with Bella.
Mm-hmm.
I am
I don't know.
with Breaking Dawn for me. It's oh, I've got more. It's such a like it's not really action film. For oh, wow, it's a long day. Can't talk.
you can do this. Your own words.
It's not really full of like action or anything. Is what I'm gonna say. So like Eclipse, you spent this whole like book building up to this fight, and like you know the training, and it's done all that sort of stuff. And then Breaking Dawn comes along, and it's obviously a big chunk of a book, and it starts off, and it's literally just like, a wedding, a honeymoon, a baby.
I mean, like, it sounds bad, but I hate that there wasn't a fight.
I know, I needed
Like,
to
it was
see
like
more.
a negotiation. Like, what?
So I kind of like love
nobody
hated
gonna
that.
attack.
The
They're
movie
just like-
executed a lot better, you know.
The what?
The movie, you know, in the end, there is a
Oh, I
fight.
have not watched the movie.
Oh,
I only watched the first one.
I haven't
Well,
seen the
you
movies
know what you
either.
need to be doing?
Oh, no, I lied. I watched the first two.
So
Well-
there is a fight in the movies, I guess.
So then that means it's already different from the book.
Mm.
Because the book is a standoff.
Watch it. You have to watch it. You have to watch
Well, yeah.
it. I just
I
remember.
will watch it
everyone
and express my feelings.
I remember watching the movie last time about a year ago. I just decided to binge watch all of them, and I got to like Breaking Dawn and stuff. And I remember sitting there completely forgetting like the actual like outcome of the book and the movies and everything. And I just sat there and was like, "What the?" like
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
like they've just done that. What the hell? I don't remember that. and then I suddenly realized what was going on, and I was like, oh yeah.
Maybe I'll watch them. I think they're on Prime.
I may want to watch it because I hated the Twilight movie. I couldn't get through it, but I feel like
I just hate their acting. Like, why are you like this all the time?
it doesn't know
Like-
how to act. Like Kristen Stewart in that movie, she was so awkward.
Better.
But then again, like Bella is an awkward person. She has like
That's true. She has no emotion in the book either.
True.
She's
So
just like,
I mean,
So maybe she's
I love
an
Edward, and that is
incredible
all I
actress, and we just didn't realize it because it's the same.
so
Yeah, I don't know, but I do actually the it kind of annoys me that they did Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Part 2, but
yeah, I did know that. I don't know why they split it because the book seems
I mean,
fairly
it is a big-
simple.
like to be fair, like essentially the first half of the book is obviously the wedding honeymoon, and then this big build up to her having a baby and possibly like gonna die because of this baby, and then there's this whole like rivalry between the wolves in themselves, like the pack, and also like obviously the wolves and vampires. So it's like this big massive build up, and you can imagine that just being one book. If it was like Eclipse, it would be one book. But and then you've got the whole build up to the Volturi coming, which I mean, as much as I enjoyed it in this because you get a bit more background into the vampires and vampires from all over the world and the different sort of abilities that they have and stuff. I do, for some reason, I remember there being more detail than there was
In the book?
Yeah.
Like, I haven't read the standoff. Like, the standoff is just starting, and there's 50 pages left in the book. And, like, the entire standoff has to happen. Everything has to wrap up still. There's still the epilogue that's in
It'll
there.
wrap up.
I'm like, is this standoff going to be, like, 10 pages maximum?
I think if she could do 2,000 pages, she would do it. Or if
Right, she would just be there forever.
I think she could do it easily.
Probably, yeah.
It's just the only thing I didn't really like on Breaking Dawn is like the 375 pages of Jacob. Like Jacob's perspective. I much rather have Edward's perspective.
I did not like that either.
Because I mean, Bella is dying. I mean, I want to know what Edward is feeling, you know, what he's thinking, like how he is, you know, during like how
I hated that they added that perspective of the wolves and like them like breaking off and stuff. I'm like, but why are we suddenly focused on the wolves?
And now you've had this whole series like Bella and a vampire with a bit of wolf on the side, and now all of a sudden the wolf is the main thing.
Yeah, then it was like straight wolf. I was like,
yeah, because like I started this audiobook and it was like narrated by this person, and then all of a sudden there was a male voice. It was like, what? Are we?
Yeah.
I
didn't care for that part either.
But at the same time, I remember when I first read it because I was so obsessed with like Taylor Lautner, and
we were like,
Jacob.
oh yes, we love the wolf.
More Jacob, yes, that means more Taylor in the movie. Yeah, I don't know what I was like then. But yeah, when you look at it now, like there's so many moments in it where I do sit there and be like, right, so Edward's being really controlling. Why? But you're only getting it from this teenage girl's point of view, and I do want to know more what he's thinking and stuff, and so I hope I get.
But I feel like a lot of it was already explained. Because like they already like talk about a lot about like Edward's struggle and all of that kind of stuff. So I mean, like I feel like Midnight Sun is just gonna be really repetitive. He's just gonna be like, I see this girl and she smells, and I can't read her mind.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I really do hope that she does it well, and that maybe we get a lot more history of it and more stuff. Everything that we've wanted from the Twilight series. I won in Midnight Sun.
Yeah, like I'm just hoping this book is like the last 100 pages is Bedward. Yeah, let's just combine them into one. Edward and Bella meeting, and the first like 600 pages is just like Edward's history. Like, give us an insight in his life.
I would like that. Like,
how did he?
If Midnight Sun ended with them meeting, that's smart.
Yes. Can we just have Edward in his serial killer mode where he was killing bad people? That's what I want to read about. Like, give me that.
I get it.
We all know we're not gonna have that. We all know that.
Yeah, we're not. Sad. I mean, that'd make a good book though, but we're not having that.
That is something.
Staring at Bella sleeping, you know.
Wow, she looks so nice.
Oh, it's so bad.
Why isn't she shuddering at my hand? I'm cold. I don't even know if I want to read it.
I don't need to say anything like that at all. Yeah. What else?
Can we talk about the honeymoon? How he blackmailed her, like, we're not gonna have any until you turn into a vampire. Toxic marriage right there from day one. Like, what?
Oh, from day one, yeah.
Hate how crude.
Can we talk about the fact that he basically forced her to marry him?
Yeah.
Like, I understand this is what you want. You want to be with me forever, but you need to marry me. Excuse me? I need to do what?
Yeah, that's like, it was weird. But like, the entire book itself is so incredibly prude. It's like, she's 18, almost 19, and she still has to have the sex talk with her dad. I'm like, it's a bit late, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I guess technically for her it wasn't late.
It's like the whole like no sex before marriage thing. Like, that's super Mormon, I guess, but it like it just felt weird to read. I mean, I guess a lot has changed since these books were written in those kind of things. People are a lot more open about like sexualities and these kind of things.
Oh yeah.
But still, it just felt really weird to read.
Before it was kind of like a black topic, like we kind of don't mention it. Mm-hmm. Now it's everywhere.
True.
I mean, I think that's why, like, you know, because Twilight, there was no sex in it or anything like that. That's why we had 50 Shades, which started as a Twilight fan fiction with Edward being into bondage and whatnot, you know. And then
I will never read that series.
Exits chat.
Stasia is suddenly interested.
I gotta go.
Maybe that's why it was so popular, you know, Twilight, because there was no sex in it. It was something different.
Yeah, it was like their straight romance. So I could see that. Like, it wasn't like, let me have sex with you. That's what we're doing. It
definitely wouldn't have been classified as young adults if it did have sex in it.
Definitely. Well, I don't know. They'd be classifying everything as young adult.
I mean, let's just look at Throne of Glass and Akatar being classified as young adult.
Yeah, and then there was that scene on the first book, you know, like A Court of Rose and Thorns, I think.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? That shouldn't be in a young adult, you know.
Yeah, A Court of Thorns and Roses, the series is basically like fantasy erotica, and it's young adults, and I'm like, this does not belong in this genre.
I will understand if they like market it as new adult, because you know, new adults like more into that rather than young adult.
Yeah, because new adult is like 16 to 21 age range, kind of.
But if you see it though, a lot of 16-year-olds already have sex at that age.
That is true.
Times are changed.
Times like 15 years ago, you wouldn't hear about that, and now it's like at my work, I get questions about sex from kids that are like 11 and 12, and it's like, you're too young for this, but it's my job to explain to you how it's supposed to work. So I guess I just have to do this now.
And then you call their mom, you know.
No, because they get to call completely anonymous. So I don't get to. That's why kids, I guess, feel comfortable. But it's better that they can ask their questions somewhere where it's like true. Anonymous, so they don't know, like, it's not going to come back to them. So they at least do it with like informed consent, and they know what they can do to protect themselves and stuff. So I guess it is a better way of just trying it yourself and then getting pregnant at an age like 14.
Yep.
That's also not good. Anyways, we're getting derailed again. We're really good at this.
Any
know what I
other
love?
points?
So that makes me laugh is so on the back of my copy of Breaking Dawn, there is praise for the Twilight Saga. USA Today said, "Move over, Harry Potter."
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
And the Times, because the Times is a very it's exactly the sort of book I imagine being read at the Times. Is encapsulates perfectly the teenage feeling of sexual tension and alienation.
What?
No.
Yeah, sexual tension. He's not giving it to me because, he's gonna break me. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Oh God. But also that first one, like move aside
Oh
Harry Potter. What does Harry Potter have to do with
I
Twilight?
know, that is like totally different genres.
I know.
Those don't even compare. It's like this sweet boy who's a wizard and goes to wizarding school and explores friendships, and then there is this paranormal romance. It's like they don't.
Yeah, that right.
Bella is the opposite of like sociable. She's antisocial completely. Like she only has her focus is on Edward, and that's it. No friends. We don't care about anyone else. That's it. Edward and then Jacob. Seriously. Seriously.
I don't even know if the other ones say the same thing. Okay, so my eclipse in terms of the praise for the Twilight Saga is the Times also was on the back of the eclipse. It's her story recounted in hypnotic, dreamy prose. And then continues with the encapsulates perfectly the teenage feeling of sexual tension and alienation. So I don't know why they took off the beginning bit of that little quote there.
Why? How much did she pay them? Like
the Sunday Herald says the thrilling tale of a vampire romance at high school. This is talking about Eclipse, and I don't remember much about high school in this book.
Yeah, there's like nothing.
I think she graduates or her graduation is an Eclipse, but it's like the last 3 weeks of graduation, and that's like all of high school that takes place, and she skips out on basically all of her classes to be with Edward that entire time. So
that is teenage years though, skipping class to be with your boyfriend. That is something that people do.
Yeah, that's like a realistic
that's the only thing.
They don't, however, skip class to be with a 100-year-old vampire or werewolf.
Like a pedophile.
You know what I also thought was weird? When she was like so focused on turning so she wasn't older than him. Like that's gonna matter.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like in Breaking Dawn, they kind of celebrate her 19th birthday, even though she had already stopped aging. She was like, no, I don't ever want to be 19. It's like, it's a number. Why are you obsessed with being 18?
Like, why does it matter? Like,
he wants to be Peter Pan. I mean, there's no other explanation.
You guys look the same. Why does it matter if technically you turned at an older age than him? But her obsession with that was like weird. She's like, I need to turn.
Is Stephanie Meyer just obsessed with wanting to be 18 forever? Is that it?
Maybe. Okay. That's the underlying message.
The underlying message is that as soon as you're over 18, you're no longer attractive, apparently. Which is...
I cannot be 19.
Yeah, it's weird.
And she was just like, I cannot be older than Edward. Bro, how are you older than him? He's been alive for decades.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like the fact that he isn't ticking that number up anymore doesn't mean he isn't 100 and whatever he is.
Right. Just because he technically turned at 18, he's still like forever older than you.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that don't make sense.
There's a lot of age things in this book that I'm like, that's just weird.
Like, why are we focused on that?
Yeah, it's really bad.
The only thing I noticed though is like how Edward in the first 3 books, he's so overprotective, over-controlling. And then on Breaking Dawn, once Bella turns, he doesn't even question her, where you going, what you're doing. It's like...
Maybe it's because she's
not afraid anymore.
I guess at that point he isn't afraid anymore of her like tripping and dying, because now she
Right.
trips, she's probably gonna break the ground instead of herself. So plus she's incredibly strong as a newborn vampire, and she could even beat Emmett without
Yeah,
even
she was
trying,
very
honestly.
strong. So I mean, even if he did say, "Where are you going?" she'd be like, "Buzz off."
I'll break you, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that comes to mind?
I'm trying to think.
I think Breaking Dawn is the best book out of the 4.
100%.
Just because it's the least problematic to me,
100%.
and it had the most amount of plot, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
And things actually make sense as to why
Yeah.
they're doing it. We're not just doing it because we're teenagers and can do whatever we want, apparently.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not even a plot-driven reader. Like, I can read 800 pages about just characters being themselves and hanging out, and nothing has to happen. But
Well,
I need to
these
like the
characters
characters.
being themselves are...
Just basically, it's like watching trees grow. They just do nothing.
Yeah, I think Breaking Dawn is the best one as well.
Yeah, me too. Even though Bella, even on that one, she was being controlled by everyone around her. So
Yeah, but I feel like in that one, she kind of had like a little bit more free will because they were like, we want you to get rid of the baby, but let her keep it anyways.
but even that free will though, like endangered her life.
Yeah.
So there's like an
I feel like the
underlying
one time they
message
should have
that you
taken
can
control, they didn't.
I said this before we went live, but I prefer Edward over Jacob just because Edward was coming of a point of wanting to protect her and really caring about her, while Jacob was coming from a point of like, I want her because I think I can get the girl. And
Jacob is
jealousy.
just cuter.
That doesn't, no, that's not a factor in this, but Jacob came from jealousy while Edward came from trying to protect her. He went way too far in his trying to protect her, but it did come from a place of love, while I never felt that with Jacob.
Yeah,
Came
at least
from,
his
like,
intentions
obsession.
were more
Team
pure.
Edward.
Yeah, I guess I am Team Edward, which after reading Twilight itself, the first book, I never imagined to ever be Team Edward. But
In the end, I guess I'm Team Edward. In the books only, though. But also, I don't know how they actually portray Jacob and his actions in the movies.
I like,
So
from what I
books,
remember, I don't remember disliking like Jacob.
Like, I don't know if
in
he's
terms of
toxic
his
and nasty in
actions,
the movies.
But yeah, maybe that's because somebody walks around shirtless quite a lot, and that was what's in the book, so that was what's in the movie, and maybe they
Yeah.
had a good casting choice there.
I think even in the movies, like Taylor, the guy who played Jacob, he acted a lot better than Pattinson
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Stewart.
I guess I will torture myself more and watch
Just
the
watch
movies.
them. Just sit down and
Yeah.
watch them.
I mean, I think Twilight is I have to sit through New Moon. Oh God. But I just torture myself. I read 1,800 pages of this series in the last 2 days, and
Now you're going to spend how many hours watching it?
I wish Netflix would allow me to watch it like 2 times speed, just so I could get.
I
through
know.
this
Just
fast.
let's just get through it.
I
I don't even think they're on Netflix.
They are for me in my area.
Let me look. I don't think they're on Netflix here.
I think it's. Have you ever watched Pretty Much It on YouTube?
Which one?
Nope.
They do like video commentaries and stuff like this, and they did some for the Twilight Saga. So if you just watch the New Moon and maybe the Eclipse version of that, you'd be sorted.
Just watch Breaking Dawn.
And yeah, and then just go straight into Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Part 2.
I feel like I'd actually like Breaking Dawn Part 2. I think that's the only part I'd like, just because it has like a lot of characters coming together and stuff. It may just be.
I just want to see the action change that apparently is in there. Because
Yeah.
the book is a standoff.
Like the second movie of Breaking Dawn is the worst movie though.
Oh.
Like effect-wise, it's like the whole thing is being filmed in front of a green screen. Sorry, and
I also know the baby looks really scary in the movies.
which one? Sorry,
The baby. What's her name?
That reaction though.
The
Nessie.
CGI baby. Oh my god, that was horrible. Like I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking when they.
I'm just gonna like look at a screenshot.
Oh, don't. It's terrifying. I know what the baby looks like.
horrible.
That was one of the best bits that I always remember people laughing at from the movie.
What the fuck is this?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
What the sorry, I'm just completely distracted by that. What the fuck? Oh, that's terrible. Okay.
You know, like from all 5 movies, I think my favorite is the first and Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Oh god, I already can't get through the first movie, and if that's your favorite,
I think it was the best.
Oh no!
The best movie.
Oh no! Oh no, that's good. I already couldn't get through that because I thought the acting was so bad and the writing was just. I feel like they made the writing worse in the movies. There were just scenes like you added extra writing that's somehow even worse than Stephanie Meyer's writing, and I did not know that was possible.
I think it was really difficult for the actors to actually connect with the characters they were playing because of the writing.
I don't blame the actors.
He wanted to portray Edward in a completely different. He wanted him to be more depressed, more moody and stuff. And then the director was like, "You can't do that. You want to be smiling and this like that." And they actually like had an argument about it, to the point where they blackmailed Pattinson that we're gonna fire you if you don't do that. So he just like after the break's like, hey, let's play Edward. He completely changed it. So
I mean, it's one of those things where like, I mean, he obviously was a Cedric Diggory, and like he was big from that, but he became like huge from the Twilight series.
Yeah.
So he did incredible things for his career.
Well, I don't know.
Sometimes you gotta endure the pain.
I don't know if you can say incredible things, because when he was cast as Batman, people got completely mad about it. Like they wouldn't want him as Batman because he's the Twilight guy. He's Edward and nobody else. He got so much backlash.
In his defense, though, he has played some amazing movies, and his acting is perfect. It's like amazing. He has
it's all about directing.
I agree. It's definitely like the Twilight movie was bad from what I've seen, but it was like the acting wasn't good, but it was mainly because of the writing being so bad. Like you can have amazing actors, but if the dialogue and the writing is just bad, they can't do anything with it. Like there needs to be a good basis, and there just wasn't.
I mean, he was in The King on Netflix, and that was incredible. Like his French accent was like incredible, but also very weird because it was like him, and it was the last thing you expected. And even in like Remember Me, which is like one of the romance kind of thing that came out not long after Twilight, I don't think. That was very good. It was a very good movie.
It was during Twilight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe in 10 years' time, after he's done Batman, he'll go, actually, I really appreciate Twilight. I should go back and be Edward again.
No.
Just no more.
It's like I usually am not a fan when an author brings out another book so long after the original books. I'll like I guess I was okay with the new Hunger Games book because that was actually good. I really like that, and I would not mind that being a movie, which I'm pretty sure the plan is to turn that into a movie. But I can't imagine having another Twilight movie. Like
no. From Edward's, I mean, it's gonna be the same thing from Edward's perspective. They're not gonna do it.
It's gonna have the same characters, and the characters have aged so much. So like you can't really have them portray and look the same.
They're gonna be babies again.
Yeah, they're basically gonna have to be turned back into babies. Which with the Hunger Games book, it follows completely different characters in a completely different time period. So it's just
from where you left off.
Yeah, it's just a different story, which works, and this just doesn't to me. But I guess we can talk about that in the next live chat when we do that in 2 weeks.
Hopefully I get my audiobook in after being 50th in line.
I'll tell you what I would love is Arpax to actually come back and do some sort of weird comedy sketch where he's almost taking the mick of Twilight. I'd watch that.
He should make his own Midnight Sun version and just have it as a parody.
Imagine.
This is how I felt as Edward.
I always imagine if you watch Vampires Suck, it's like a mixtape of Twilight, Vampire Diaries, things like this, and I always imagine like that being what's going on in his head. Like the entire thing is just him going, "This is what I see, and this is what you're doing to me." It's a really daft, stupid, but annoyingly hilarious movie. That with Matt Lanter as the I think I don't even remember the character's name. Let me see if I can do it. They're all really stupid names that are like ever so slightly similar.
Like Bella Goose or something like that. Because I think I've read a book like that. I think it was called like Nightlight, and it was like a parody of Twilight. And they had like Bella's name was like Bella Goose or something.
I don't know. This one she was called Becca. Becca Crane. And Matt Lanter plays Edward Sullen.
Oh my gosh.
And Chris Rigi, I don't know his surname, plays Jacob White.
Jacob White, nice.
It was good though. I annoyingly loved it. I went to see it at the cinema the first time I watched it because I was like, oh my god, Twilight. And yeah. Well, any last thoughts before we
disperse?
Not really. It's just like I still have to finish the book, which I'm going to do right now. And
I don't think we spoiled anything, so.
I don't think so.
Well, I know it's not going to turn into a fight.
Yeah, sorry.
But that's fine.
But I didn't say no one dies.
True. But it's fine. I don't it's 50 more pages. I just want this to be over with. Reading 750 pages in a single day is not something I want to do again anytime soon.
At least not with this book.
Yeah, like if it's a good book, but not with this.
You know, I found it very easy though. Like back then, the first time I read the books, like I read each book in a day, like 7-8 hours, you know. And even now that I reread them, I did the same thing again. And I feel like because of the writing, it's not like very difficult. It reads like a diary, basically.
Yeah, they are really, really fast reads. I do know that because I spent when I was reading Crescent City, which is 800 pages, I spent like 5 days reading that, even though I loved it. And it was a great book, but it took me so much longer to read it.
Yeah, there's a lot more to take in, and there's a lot more detail.
True.
Yeah.
An actual
I think I need to do like a Sarah J. Maas, like readathon to read all of her books because I haven't read them.
Count me out. I'm not doing it.
I'm very mixed because I think her Throne of Glass series so far, what I've read, is pretty good. I loved Crescent City, and I
would not give in to the hype that is Sarah J. Maas.
And I hate A Court of Thorns and Roses. So like I'm mixed.
But I also don't like
writing.
fantasy, so why would I be?
Yeah, you don't really read fantasy, so.
The hell, I just started reading Illuminate.
I seen, and you have the audiobook, so.
Yeah, I can't get the audiobook. It's not available in my region, even on Audible, so that's stupid.
So good.
I've read Illuminate. I've read the book. I've just never listened to the audiobook.
The audiobook is like a whole different experience.
I can't concentrate on audiobooks. Like I can't. Like even if I do something else and try to focus on it, like my brain is gonna drift somewhere. I'm just gonna lose like a lot, you know.
I can literally do anything while doing audiobooks.
I mainly listen to audiobooks when I travel to work because there's nothing else going on. So I can just like focus on them. Or when I'm reading a physical copy of a book and I'm just listening to the audiobook as I go, and I do both at the same time.
I just pop them in. I'll play some games on my phone, play some Animal Crossing, clean the house.
I can't do that.
It's funny because
world.
Right.
I
just hate when I'm listening to an audiobook and my husband thinks we can have a conversation.
If I put in earbuds in my house and I walk downstairs, it's like everyone starts talking to me and then they get upset that I'm not listening. And I'm like, I'm trying to listen to my audiobook. Not
That's
to
why I stopped
you.
using earbuds. I just put it on max volume so he doesn't talk. He's just like,
Yeah, my parents don't really like that.
Anyway,
fortunately, my mom does not have a say.
I wish.
She would tell me to turn it off though.
my mum complains every time I've got one on because I do listen to it like at least 2 times speed. My mum
Yeah,
comes
so
in
then
and
they're
goes,
like, you can't even.
and I'm like, Mum, calm down. She's just like, how do you understand it? And I'm like,
Oh, that's my husband. I'm like,
I like the
maybe my
same
brain is faster.
speed. Like I talk faster than I'm listening.
Talk
to.
fast.
It's
You
just
do.
that it sounds weird because it's like somebody talking on a thing, and I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
All right.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining me.
This was fun.
Wonderful, weird read along thing throughout this month, and these chats.
When is next month getting announced?
The book of the month.
Yeah.
She didn't even put up poll options. Oh wait, no. Last time we just chose a genre and she chose books.
Yeah, we've chosen genres. The polls have been up for that.
So
I know the genres.
What are the genres? Give us.
oh, come on. See, look, we get inside information because we're here.
It's live on YouTube. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
So I am gonna. So my plan for tonight was to put into the Discord. I'm gonna say, here are the genres and quick 4 suggestions go. Or like what
Is that how we're doing it this time?
Yeah.
You're not just gonna throw
and then
a
I'll
book at
put
him?
those 4 as a poll as usual, and then I'll announce it tomorrow. And then, so let me just get the actual poll up, and I'll tell you.
Are we doing a
exactly
theme?
How many
Are we
things?
Are we doing themes after August? Because I read something about somebody suggesting that having like a back to school theme in September and then like Halloween
What?
in October.
I did not see that. I must be lost.
Yeah, so somebody mentioned about that. And I'm gonna try to fit it in. I don't know how yet.
Well, if we're doing themes, shouldn't August be like road trips in summer? So shouldn't we read a contemporary?
I know you want to read contemporaries. Hey, your book club already got a contemporary pick, so.
Oh, I'm so excited for that, by the way.
I love how that one's been on the polls for like the past 2 or 3 months. And just not got picked, and then this month it was like, yeah.
I know. Well, usually what we do is we always add in the one that was second place last month.
So that's always got second place every month.
Yeah, every month, and now it's finally won, which I'm really excited about.
I voted on a different book on each poll, so I just voted on a different one.
I just divided the books. I just divided the book last night, and it's like less than 100 pages every week. Where is it?
So, for the mini-a-thon book of the month, the first poll that was on Instagram was fantasy, sci-fi, historical novel, or non-fiction.
Which sucked because I wanted none of those, but continue.
Non-fiction got 2 votes. Historical novel got 3 votes. Sci-fi got 2 votes.
Ugh.
And fantasy got 24 votes. It's a little bit close, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
And then the second poll, oh gosh.
Where you put 2 of my favorite genres? That was real rude.
Biographies got 2. Literary fiction got 2. Thrillers got 8. And YA Contemporary got 21. So
yeah, I voted fantasy.
Contemporary. I'm just mad that you had thriller and contemporary in one. How are you gonna do that to me?
I mean, last month we had what did we even have this month? We had double thriller this month.
Yeah, 2 thrillers and then a paranormal romance.
Yeah, not just 2 book of the months. It was an entire 4-book series.
Right.
Yeah,
thrillers.
we had 6 in total. I read all 6. Same.
By the way, when is those discussions?
Yeah, when are we doing those?
She said, I don't know. I'm gonna just announce it 2 hours before.
Yeah, I usually just message you, but like, who's free? I've not even read them yet, so.
Wow.
I'm excited to discuss both of them.
Same. I actually.
And I feel like we have opposite reactions.
Yeah, because you liked The Turn of the Key
I
more.
love The Turn of the Key.
And I gave that 3 stars, and I really like Blood Orange, and you were kind of meh on that.
I was like, I gave Blood Orange 3 stars.
Our ratings were switched.
I think Blood Orange is an acquired taste because it's like a certain field in thriller.
It's a legal
I don't
thriller.
care about like courts.
It's a domestic legal thriller.
Yeah, I don't care about legal thrillers.
I do. Those are my favorite thrillers. So
yeah, see, that's where we differ.
yeah, but I know Rylan read both as well, so she'll probably want to join for the discussion.
Yeah, so let us know, Kira.
Yes, Kira.
We'll be waiting.
This is your Discord.
But if you need help with like
anything,
yeah, like the bingo board and stuff, because I'm doing my bullet journal today, so I would appreciate that too.
Well, I've done those. I'm actually organized this month. They're done.
Ooh!
I'm so proud of myself. Normally I do it on the 2nd of the month and be like,
yeah, it's done before the month.
I've got them all saved, ready to go.
Although we have no discussion dates or books of the month, but it's fine. You got like 5 days, 4 days.
I'm broke anyway, till the 12th of the month, so I can't buy the books before that. So
hopefully this book I already have, please. Please
well,
no high fantasy.
Chances are I'm going to ask a Discord in like 10 minutes.
I mean, it's going to be a high fantasy.
Put forward a book that you're reading.
I'm going to cry.
You don't have to read it.
I know, but I like to talk. So I will read it.
We know.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Hopefully, I'm just hoping it's a book that I own.
Yes,
That's it. That's my only requirement.
I don't
I'm
know.
not gonna go in my library and see all these
I'm
fantasy.
just saying right now, in October, one of the genres has to be horror.
Yes, no, it will.
Don't even put it up for a vote. Just make the poll 4 times horror.
I agree. Are we gonna read a King book?
Yeah, we can do
a Halloween thing.
We can do If It Bleeds,
October
so you don't have to buy.
6 months of mini-a-thons.
Yes, let's do that. Okay, we already got October's book, If It Bleeds. Because I have it.
Okay,
yeah, I bought it for stage.
But you have to read the outsides first to read the If It Bleeds one.
Is it really a sequel? I heard about that, but people said it wasn't.
I don't know.
Well, I have The Outsiders, so.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know what I have.
Because,
no, I have Sleeping Beauties.
I have that one.
If It Bleeds is a short story collection.
Look, she's overwhelmed. Kira, are you okay?
I don't have any of these.
Why don't you do true crime for October?
So many Halloween things.
To be fair, I read one and it was just real boring, and I'm just like,
guys, let's calm down. You know. There's still 2 months before October.
I know, we haven't even discussed August yet.
Like Kira.
She's just like
recommendations, you know.
I have to remember all these books in October.
October is also 6 months of mini-a-thon.
Okay, so we should do a horror. And
let's do one of everything.
Oh my gosh. My entire TBR will be mini-a-thon decided.
Anyway, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go post those genres on Discord, and then
I will go find some fantasy books I own.
Put in your things really quickly if you want.
I hope everyone would like to read them too.
And then,
all right, is that a wrap?
We'll figure something
2
out.
2 hours. Or like 1.5. I think we had like delays coming in and stuff. Decent discussion. I mean, we got off
just setting off in the airport. Okay.
I'm hopping straight into another. I just got invited to another chat, so now I have 9 minutes to read the last 50 pages. For
you can do this.
Chat.
You can do this.
And you also need to put in your recommendations into the Discord, so good luck.
And watch all 4 Twilight movies.
Right.
In the next 10 minutes, you've got.
Yes.
We're waiting for your thoughts.
Okay. Right.
All right.
Guys, lovely seeing your faces, as always.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
See you guys for Midnight Sun.
Okay.
See you next
Enjoy
time.
your evenings / daytimes for those.
My day, because it's literally noon.
haven't even had a day yet. I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.